Prime Time Studio. Viewers, from atop his ivory tower in a tony quarter of America's first city, Sam Pitroda has made it a habit of commenting on all things Indian. This time in a video interview to an iconic but now down on its luck Indian newspaper, Pitroda thought it necessary to elaborate on his idea of India. Pitroda broke out into a rapturous ode to India's diverse cultures that have defied the odds and miraculously melted into one another to create a nation. To be sure, there's nothing original about these emotional pains to India's unity in diversity. These homilies are done to death and are the usual recourse of self-proclaimed mealy-mouthed liberals who want to contrast so-called Nehruvian inclusivity with the Modi establishment's alleged saffron exceptionalism. And this interview by Pitroda would have also gone unnoticed but for his use of racist analogies to characterize the diversity in India. Pitroda gushed to his interviewer. He said, and I quote, "We have survived 75 years in a very happy environment where people could live together, leaving aside few fights here and there. We could hold a country together as diverse as India, where people on the east look like Chinese, people on the west look like Arabs, people in the north look like whites, and maybe people in the south look like Africans," unquote. Listen to Sam Pitroda, please.
We could hold country together as diverse as India, where people on east look like Chinese, people on west look like Arab, people on north look like, maybe white, and people in south look like Africa. Doesn't matter. We are all brothers and sisters. We all respect different language. We all respect different religion, different look, different custom, different food.
Shocker, viewers. The Prime Minister tore into Pitroda for his incipient racism and wondered if he had revealed the Congress party's mindset. Listen in.
संविधान सर पे लेकर के नाचने वाले लोग चमड़ी के रंग के आधार पर मेरे देशवासियों का अपमान कर रहे हैं कि चमड़ी का रंग देख करके उन्होंने मान लिया कि द्रौपदी मुर्मू भी अफ्रीकन है। अरे चमड़ी का रंग कोई भी हो, हम तो श्री कृष्ण की पूजा करने वाले लोग हैं, जिसकी चमड़ी का रंग यहां हम सब जैसा रंग था। ये सोच आज पहली बार मुझे तो पता चला कि ये दिमाग कहां काम कर रहा है इनका, ये देश को कहां ले जाएंगे।
It is obvious that the analogy is an odious nod to racism. Only the worst chauvinists in history have relied on skin color, the shape of an ethnic grouping's eyes, or the broadness of noses and other physical markers to classify citizens of any nation state. And in a country like India, which is a microcosm of the world, this insidious racial profiling is nothing short of an abject attempt at sowing the seeds of otherness. Pitroda's words reopen the fault lines that Indians are now increasingly looking to paper over as miscegenation. Music, films, food, movies, jobs and tourism are enjoining our disparate selves to embrace each other's ways. A new cosmopolitan Indian is being birthed. Naturally, many Indian citizens were outraged, viewers, and they all spoke out against Sam Pitroda. Listen in.
Even the human should not be divided into classes. When we oppose that, we should not be divided into Manudharma classes. How will you accept this kind of a racial discrimination or difference? We are not for it.
So whatever Sam Pitroda thinks and says, that is what Congress party is actually saying it.
It is a habitual fact that Congress is generally doing this type of divide and rule policy amongst the community, How he can say that notice we are like, Chinese like, we are from the very beginning part of India, we never belong to China. We are just being an Indian.
बहुत ही शर्मनाक बयान है भारत को खंड खंड में बांटने वाला बयान है और भारत के नागरिकों का अपमान करने वाला बयान है।
Pitroda's opinions are inflammatory, prejudicial, but they also carry the weight of authority, partly derived from his proximity to the Gandhi family and partly from helming the influential overseas Congress. The Congress party must now introspect. It might have distanced itself from this bigoted man, but it must also distance itself from the man. The Congress must decide if it wants a parochialist like Pitroda to be the global ambassador for a new generation of cosmopolitan Indians. Viewers, as the Congress thinks about its options, we are hearing that Sam Pitroda has decided to quit as the chief of the Overseas Congress. Pitroda will no longer be the ambassador, the global ambassador of the Congress party. He will no longer be the overseas face of the Congress party. Unfortunately, viewers, it is not the Congress, it appears, that has sacked Sam Pitroda, but he has deigned to quit. He has deigned to quit. Why didn't the Congress sack him? Sack him 4 hours back. Fundamentally, viewers, we have to begin to ask ourselves, what is it that Sam Pitroda has over the Congress party that it couldn't bring itself to sack him? Pitroda has done a favor to the Congress by now stepping down. Let's open this up, viewers. Questions need to be asked. Questions need to be asked, viewers. And these are important ones. Dr. Ranganathan is here with us as a public-spirited Indian, as an Indian who also represents the diversity of this country. I don't know where you would have fit in, Dr. Ranganathan, or let me just put it like this, in between the vernier calipers of Pitroda's prejudice, the two fangs, opposing fangs of his prejudice. Where would you fit in, Dr. Ranganathan?
Good evening, Rahul. Look, first of all, apologies are due from my side. I stand corrected. Now I am all for the incoming government levying an inheritance tax on all Indians so that the collected money can be handed over to those who have inherited Sam Pitroda's genes. Sam Juniors deserve every bit of sympathy in cash or kind. On a promising note though, the identity of the assistant to the captain of the Titanic has finally been revealed. We thought earlier that it was Mani Shankar Raiya. Wrong. It is Sam Pitroda. Mani was just a deckhand. Rahul, but to be serious, you must understand, this is not Sam's mindset. Even if he resigns or he stays put, it doesn't matter. This is the mindset of the Congress. Please get this. They want to divide India because dividing India is what they have been doing for 75 years. That is their core expertise. They want to divide India into Hindus and Muslims, into Dalits and non-Dalits, into reserved and non-reserved, into rich and poor, into diners and non-diners. And they think once they've divided India, they will easily be able to rule it. Remember, this is the same Sam Pitroda who uttered those despicable phrase, hua to hua, in trying to explain the 1984 sex genocide. This is the same Sam Pitroda who wants to punish the middle class into paying more taxes, who wants to levy an inheritance tax, who wants to redistribute the wealth and reduce everyone to be poor. This is the same Sam Pitroda, who said something is wrong with the EVMs. Give me 1 year to study its circuitry and I will tell you what is wrong. Well, Sam has been studying Rahul Gandhi for 40 years and he still hasn't figured out what is wrong with the circuitry. But this time Sam has gone too far, leaving even the Congress shamefaced and rushing to condemn him. Sam's statement, Rahul, is preposterous. Rahul, race is not a scientific concept. Purity even less so. Not only are 8 billion humans 99.97% genetically identical, modern human genome is but a mishmash of primate, plant, bacterial, parasite, even viral DNA. Only fools conflate investigating genetic ancestry with racial purity. There is nothing like Indians who are Chinese, Indians who are Africans, Indians who are Arabs, Indians who are whites. This kind of generalization is utterly unscientific and condemnable. Tens of thousands of years ago, The indigenous populations were, yes, restricted to their own land and habitat, and therefore they adapted to their environment, its climate, its heat and cold and sunlight. But science shows that humans have been mixing vigorously for thousands of years, especially humans in India, the ANI and ASI population. Finally, Rahul, you see, as a scientist, the time scale that interests me is not 100 or 500 or 1,000 years, but 1 billion or 5 billion or 10 billion years. And on this time scale, I am not an Indian, but Ethiopian. I'm not a descendant of a Ranganathan, but of AL2881 or Lucy. And I'm not a creation of design, but of a conspiracy hatched by thunder and lightning and water and ammonia and hydrogen and methane and dust. Let religion and its mesmerizing literature not fool you into believing you were created by someone who wasn't a product of the RNA world. And so nothing really matters whether our ancestors were brilliant or not, whether our culture is ancient or not, whether our religions are better or not. We are but an inconsequential bunch of cells. Our genome is 99.1% identical to that of a chimpanzee. And, I don't mean similar, I mean identical. And for those who believe otherwise, I can only say their evolution is incomplete.
Well. What an emphatic opening rebuttal. Let me bring in Mr. Jindal. There is also, of course, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Sanju Verma, with us. Mr. Jindal, you represent the Congress for a very long time in these debates. I want to ask you, I think this is an articulation. In fact, Tehseen Poonawalla is also here, who's actually married into the first family. So maybe I should start with him, because Pitroda was actually the creation of the first family. I don't even know now what the equation is, who has created whom. Has Pitroda actually created Rahul Gandhi because Rahul says he's my mentor? Or did Rajiv create Pitroda? It's all very nebulous. It's all very nebulous. It's just as nebulous as Pitroda's racial theories. So let me ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, I find it strange that the Congress didn't think it was necessary to sack him, but his lordship, Mr. Pitroda, deigned to resign. What was the hesitation, number one, in sacking this person? Number one. Number two, I just want to ask you, is this the prevalent mindset of the Congress? Because I remember when Rahul Gandhi was at Cambridge in May 2022, you know what he said? India was a top-down idea, not a bottom-up idea. As if we never had a civilizational past. We are not a sum of our civilizational strains, but we are a creation of some white man who ran around with a vernier caliper and measured the width of our nose and then categorized us. H. Risley. So I want to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, how deep does this animus run? This racial exclusivism run in the Congress party?
So Rahul, first of all, good evening. Thank you for having me on the show. Sorry I joined 5 minutes late. There was some amount of traffic. But two things. I was astounded and embarrassed to hear Mr. Pitroda speak. A couple of days ago on your show, I said something and it went viral. Sam to jaki hai, Mani Shankar abhi baki hai. So the Congress, I don't know where they find these people from. And I was amongst the first people to not just tweet, but publicly on all media channels, including yours, say that action should be taken against Sam, a gag order should be issued. Very grateful Jairam did that immediately. And now the man has had to resign. Look, you can have differences. I have several differences with Sanju. I have several differences with Anand. But to say people from the East look like Chinese or people from South of India look like Africans is just plain racist. There is no good intention in that. It's not even, you can't even say it's a stupid statement. It's a racist statement. And you don't make such statements. So Sam should honestly understand, and I hope for the sake of the Congress, he keeps his mouth shut, not just during elections, at all times. If Sam thinks he's helping Rahul Gandhi, let me just tell him, fact check, he's hurting Rahul Gandhi.
No.
The issues of these elections is inflation, price rise, jobs, lack of opportunities. Anything else is a deviation. Now, I can come on your show and say the BJP is diverting. Why is the Prime Minister shifting to a goalpost? The Prime Minister is going to do politics. Sanju is going to do politics. The media is going to pick it up because you've given it on a platter.
Wrong.
They will pick it up. Why? You won't pick it up if it's on a platter.
Poonawalla, wrong. This is about identity. And who is championing this divisive identity politics? It is the Congress party. Caste surveys, financial surveys, You put this down in your manifestos, my dear friend. You have a speech by Rahul Gandhi. Have you heard that speech? If you if you are ashamed of Sam Pitroda, your toes will be curling in your Gucci boots. Let me tell you, my dear friend. Let me tell you this.
I don't wear Gucci.
Sorry,
I don't have half the money. I don't have half the money.
Sorry, but listen to me. Listen to me, Tehseen Purhala. Let me tell you this. This is very important that you realize this. The other day, we heard a speech by Rahul Gandhi sitting amongst a group of people and saying, देखो, अमेरिका में गोरे लोग जब पेपर बनाते हैं, they frame question papers, वो कालों को फेल करने के लिए करते हैं. Then he said, ये भी भारत में भी होता है. मैं तो कहता हूं कि अगर पिछड़े लोगों को पेपर सेट करने की इजाजत मिलती है तो सारे अपर कास्ट ब्राह्मण लोग फेल हो जाएंगे. These are the kind of things he's saying. He is creating dissension. He is creating the recipe for the pitchforks to be brought out.
Yeah.
This is what is happening. Tehseen Poonawalla. So what is Sam Pitroda? Poor fellow. He's only perhaps, I don't know which is the guru now, which is the chela. I don't know who is who.
That's true.
Who is whose master's voice? So I'm asking you, Tehseen Poonawalla, you talk about caste surveys, you talk about financial surveys, let's examine kitne ke haath mein kya hai. What is all this?
So if I can answer without being interrupted, I'll make a very brief answer. I do think that the caste survey is extremely important for our country. And maybe I'm wrong. I accept that.
Rajiv Gandhi didn't think so. Was Rajiv Gandhi a twit? I'm asking you a simple question.
I will answer it, but you have to give me 30 seconds. Otherwise, there's no point having me on the show. So allow me to answer your question. Your question was 3 minutes. Give me 30 seconds to answer. I think that's a fair conversation. Let me say, I absolutely, firmly, with 100% conviction believe in a caste survey. No if, no but. Now, I asked you, enemy here, ask the BJP spokesperson, are they against the caste survey? If they say it, I will apologize on your show. Just say that the BJP is against caste survey.
Sir, I'm asking you a simple question.
You can blame me, and I'm saying I'm for it.
asking you a simple question.
I am for it.
I'm asking
is the BJP for it against it?
Did Rajiv Gandhi not warn against...
Rajiv Gandhi is a martyr and no longer amongst our midst. Let's talk about...
Oh my gosh.
I am for it.
He was a martyr. He was a martyr. Your party says he was a martyr. He died for a cause that he believed. These are the causes that he believed in. And today those sacrifices don't matter. His cause doesn't matter.
I am for it. Lokesh is
Shocking.
for it. Ask the BJP.
Today, viewers, Rajiv Gandhi has also been kicked out and his so-called sacrifice has also been kicked out. His cause that he died for has been kicked out.
आया BJP से पूछ लो ना, उनको
Well,
नहीं करना है.
Sanju Verma comes in on this. Sanju Verma, we are seeing a Congress party that didn't have the gumption to sack this man after he said what he said. And they are accusing you of playing the caste card. Respond.
You know, Rahul, I'm not going to be, rude or impolite like some unofficial Congress spokespeople who come on your show and say, if you don't give me uninterrupted 9 minutes or 8 minutes like you've given the BJP, I refuse to speak. Let me be gracious. I need half the time that you gave Mr. Ranganathan. He made some very valid points, especially from a scientific perspective. And Tehseen also made some points, or rather spoke what he had to say. But I will say this, I don't want your audience to lose sight of the vicious narrative that the Congress is peddling. First and foremost, Sam Pitroda may have resigned, but that does not mean that the hua to hua attitude of the Congress has been buried for good. Let us not forget this. 1987 Hashimpura riots, the attitude of the Congress was hua to hua. 1989 Bhagalpur riots, the attitude of the Congress was hua to hua. Of course, 1984 anti-Sikh genocide, hua to hua. 2006, the Aligarh riots under the Congress, the attitude was hua to hua. 2008, the Dhule riots under the Congress, attitude was hua to hua. 2010, the Deganga riots in West Bengal, the attitude was hua to hua. 2011, the Bharatpur riots, the attitude was hua to hua. 2012, the Kokrajhar riots in Assam under the Congress once again, the attitude was hua to hua. 2013, the Muzaffarnagar riots, again under the incompetent Congress, the attitude was hua to hua. So my first point is, Congress has this attitude of hua to hua, which basically means completely dismissing rioting, arson, loot, genocide, communal violence. And then this lot has the audacity, the gall to lecture BJP about polarizing the narrative. This is point number one. Point number two, and more importantly, what really appalled me was not that Sam Pitroda had compared South Indians to Africans and, East Indians to Chinese, what have you. What really upset me, Rahul, I heard that speech where he says, and very brazenly, without an iota of remorse or regret, what does he say? He says the idea of India, which is about democracy, freedom, liberty, and fraternity, is being challenged by this Ram Navami, by this Ram Mandir, and by this PM who is always visiting temples. मतलब जो कहावत है इंग्लिश में, the apple does not fall far from the tree. So Sam Pitroda openly abusing Sanatan Dharma by saying the idea of India is being negated because Narendra Modi visits temples. The idea of India is being negated because Hindus celebrate Ram Navami with pomp and gaiety. The idea of India is being negated because we built a Bhavya Ram Mandir and we had a superb and splendid Pran Pratishtha ceremony on the 22nd of January 2024. What can be more shameful? In a country of 140 crore Indians, out of which 82% are Hindus, we have somebody who does not even reside in India, but has been an integral part of the Congress regime for the longest time, sitting somewhere in the US, is saying that the idea of India is getting denigrated because the Prime Minister is visiting temples and Hindus are celebrating Ram Navami. Can you imagine? This should be what should be highlighted by so-called Piddi media, because Godi media to highlight kar rahi hai bhai sahab, but Piddi media, when will it wake up and smell the coffee? My last point is this. If you look at Rahul Gandhi's narrative over the last 10 years, because I always say this, the devil is in the detail, and never lose sight of proportion. You look at Rahul Gandhi ahead of UP assembly elections. The narrative was Yadav versus non-Yadav. Ahead of Karnataka assembly elections, the Congress narrative was Lingayats versus Vokaligas and Vokaligas versus Kurubas. You look at the narrative ahead of the Goa assembly elections. It was the Mahar and Chamar community, which are sizable in Goa, versus the non-Mahar and non-Chamar Dalits. You look at the narrative ahead of the Telangana assembly elections. It was the Madiga Dalit community versus the non-Madiga Dalits. You look at the narrative ahead of the West Bengal assembly elections. It was Matuas and Rajbanshis versus the non-Matua Dalit community. And then ahead of Madhya Pradesh assembly elections, he started, and ahead of Rajasthan assembly elections, he started this narrative of Gujars versus non-Gujars, tribals versus non-tribals. Tell me, Rahul, within 10 seconds I want to ask one question.
How far will this go?
Allow me for just 10 seconds. Has Rahul Gandhi ever spoken about Ashraf versus Ajlaf, Sayyid versus Sheikh, Khan versus Pathan, or Mansoor versus Qureshi, or Qureshi versus Ansari, or Ansari versus Pasmanda? ये सारे भाषण सिर्फ बीजेपी के लिए क्यों है? Yadav versus non-Yadav, Brahmin versus
Well, viewers, this is. I have to agree with you, Sanju Varma, that I think you've hit the nail on the head. That is what I was trying to suggest. That divisiveness has been woven in through quotas, exclusivism, through creating a whole body of laws that Dr. Ranganathan has written about extensively in his book, which is, of course, a multi-time bestseller. So we all know what has been happening. Mr. Jindal, let me ask you, what do you mean by a top-down idea? India is a top-down idea. Are you saying that India is some British political constitutional artifice that was birthed in 1947? That it is not bottom-up India, not civilization? These are your Ustad's words, Rahul Gandhi's words, your party leader's words, your mentor's words, your youth leader's words. Mr. Jindal,
Rahul,
what do you mean by this? Can you explain this to me? What does Rahul Gandhi mean when he said India is a top-down idea? Can you explain this to me? What do you mean by this?
The idea of India as we understand today, is the outcome of a, a colonial struggle for independence.
Arey
And
sir, I'm asking you,
subsequently,
what do you mean by a top-down idea? Don't give me the history.
let me
What does he
answer.
mean?
Huh? If you allow me to answer only, then I'll be able to
Okay.
explain. Have some patience. So when you are talking about the idea of India, it was the outcome of a middle class intelligentsia who brought about modern ideals of a modern nation state. And following independence, this idea of India was supposed to seep down the entire civilization. And it was supposed to be India is a nation in the making. Should I explain it in Hindi or some other language which you are comfortable with?
Sir, a civilization already
No,
exists. Us pe kya
no, a
seep
civil.
down hoga?
No, that's what is the problem with you. You know, the little knowledge is a dangerous thing,
Oh,
Rahul.
I see. Okay.
Especially when people, they get graduated from WhatsApp University, and with some
Oh
little
my
knowledge they try
God.
to derive large conjectures.
My
They
God.
make a fool out of themselves. Let me
Right.
correct you. Let me
Oh.
tutor you, man. See, when you're talking about the ancient civilization, the medieval times, we saw that a civilization is a process via which every time period it contributed towards making up of a common culture. With the advent of the British, we saw modern ideals coming into the Indian civilization fray, and we saw that the middle class intelligentsia it played an important role in it. And following independence, this modernity, these values of modern nation state system via the Constitution of India, it started percolating down over a period of time. It
Right.
percolated. And
Acha.
in fact, that explains why India is not a failed nation state, unlike Pakistan and all the
Oh,
neighbors that we have,
because the
because we had
British
a
gave us such a good,
and it was the idea of India. But
good
what we are
boarding school
witnessing now
education.
is the reversing taking place.
I see.
There is
Okay.
a regressive trend whereby India is being limited to the idea of one religion. There is one primacy towards one cultural period, and all other contributions are being negated. There is an attempt so as to give another idea altogether to this
Okay.
India.
Okay. It's a top-down idea. So the Harvard University professor, I'm going to now go to the WhatsApp University DPhil student, Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, representing today WhatsApp University, can you please explain to our great friend here, Mr. Jindal, why he's so absolutely wrong?
Rahul, everyone would have seen Lagan in there. I think Elizabeth says, well, can you please translate this after 5 minutes of Amir Khan explaining that how cricket is so easy, and the Man Friday says, Mem Saab, ye musse nahi ho payega. So likewise, this is the same predicament that I have. I'm sorry, Rahul, I can't explain this to Lokesh. He is so wrong, but still he is less wrong than Rahul Gandhi, and more wrong, of course, than Tehseen. What are they talking about? What idea of India does he even know about Vishnu Puran? Does he even know that the idea of India existed thousands of years before? This so-called, no, please don't interrupt, Lokesh. Please don't. I know you.
I'm not interrupting at all. Please, you have your time.
No,
The
please,
anchor is with you.
Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. I know this is the problem with homeschooling. That
No,
is
no, 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 no. This is the problem when we have scientists
please.
who derive their conjectures
Now,
based upon deductive
please.
reasoning, and they are
Now, look at
glorified altogether, knowing nothing
Now,
about
look at
history, but trying to claim that they know all. So, homeschool, who is homeschooled and who is deriving conjecture, who is
थोड़े से
deriving generalization based upon irrelevant fact, everybody knows. It is just that, my brother, listen. It is just that
अरे भाई
whatever
मेरे
generalizations you come across, no, listen, it is based upon little knowledge that you have. You're a scientist. It's
Arey
better
bhai
that you
sahab.
restrict yourself to the science and
Right.
all these forms. If you haven't read it well, why
The
do you
fount of
enter
all
into the
knowledge
area of
on this
politics?
show is speaking. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
ठीक है,
Absolutely.
Rahul, can I quickly come in?
Yes.
चलिए.
Yes.
The British gave
Match
us
fixing.
our sense of
Yes.
I think it's fair I'm allowed to come in.
The only thing lower than Lokesh's credibility is his intelligence.
Yes. You are the judge now.
Rahul, can I come in for a bit? Just 20 seconds, please.
No, one second. Yes. Very quickly. And I
Yes.
want to bring in Tehseen Punal. Maybe he'll make more sense than Jindal.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to get personal, but Lokesh, what have you studied? I'm just curious.
No, forget it. Let's not. Look,
because he spoke about WhatsApp University.
Forget it. Listen,
Rahul.
let's not be.
Okay, now I'm not.
No, allow me.
No, I'm not talking about being personal. Why are we getting sidetracked by some
Okay,
shagufta this
Rahul
gentleman
Gandhi.
is floated here? Yes.
Lokesh has been studying Rahul Gandhi.
And Lokesh, if you
Rahul
just
Gandhi
Google, you
makes
will.
much more sense than you, Anand.
Okay.
Let me tell you,
Jindal
because
Saab.
you need
Yes.
brains.
Rahul, can I speak?
Yes, let Sanju
symptoms
Verma
that you
speak now.
express
Let
is
her
called
finish.
intellectual arrogance.
Okay.
Can
Nothing
I
else.
please?
Oh, wow.
Lokesh, if you ever happen to come to Mumbai
Sanju, when your time will come, you may speak, na?
अरे भाई साहब
I've
अभी
given
मेरा
her the
वक्त है
time.
लोकेश बोलने दीजिए
Okay,
ना.
please. Okay, you have the time.
Yeah. You know,
Boliye.
I just want to say, since आपने WhatsApp University का जाइब लिया, very humbly I want to tell you, if you ever happen to come to Mumbai, meet investment bankers, and you ask them, who's the only person who's been ranked 4 times in Asia Money for economy, equities and derivatives, they will tell you it is Sanju Verma. तो यहाँ पर बैठ के WhatsApp University पर ज्ञान मत दीजिए.
कोई बात नहीं.
But
The
I'll
point
make
is,
the more pertinent point. I'll make just 10-20 seconds. I think you need to understand that Sam Pitroda's comments at one level were racist, misogynistic, but at the other level, they were completely anti-Hindu bile. The same comments which were endorsed by Priyanka Khadge, the same comments which were brazenly made by Udyanidhi Stalin, who said Sanatan Dharma is equal to dengue, rabies, malaria.
yeah, I
COVID, what
agree
have
with you. I want to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, why didn't the Congress sack him?
No, they made sure that he stepped down. I
How
spoke
do you
that in the
know?
morning. I know, I spoke it in the morning. I
No,
said
to
he will
whom
be
did
asked
you
to step
spoke
down.
to him?
The media, I told that he will be asked to
Oh,
step down.
please.
It's all
Tehseen
over.
Poonawalla, I'm asking you,
please.
why didn't the
Rahul,
Congress
yeah.
party go public and sack him?
Rahul, listen. In any debate, I would appreciate
But
if we
can't
get
I ask you
Lokesh
the
Naik
question?
and-
I'm
Yes,
asking
but
you
you
the
have to allow us
question.
to answer. If in one word you stop us, at least don't have me on the show. But allow me to speak. If you stop me every 1 minute, there's no point. I appreciate you calling me, but allow me to speak.
Tehseen,
Otherwise,
I was
that's
also
fine.
interrupted by Lokesh. Did
Yeah,
I
but
say
that's
I
one.
voted for this?
Yeah, but Lokesh and Rahul is the difference, na?
Okay.
So there are 2 points that I want to make. Just 2 very fast. I'll answer your question specifically. But what escaped and what your viewers did not did see, and I hope this is not going to escape, is the Congress stands firmly for the caste census. Now, I agree you may call it divisive, and I respect your point of view, and we agree to disagree here. Does the BJP say they will not do the caste census? That's point number 1. You answer, take the bullet on the head and answer.
Hang on. I'm just asking a
Because
fundamental
you call
question.
the Congress divisive on the caste census. Why is the BJP not being asked that?
Listen.
That's the point.
One second,
The
Tehseen
fundamental point is
Poonawalla.
that. Now let me come to the second point.
Okay, can you allow me to get in there?
Sure.
Enough whataboutery tonight.
Enough. BJP se पूछो
I
ना,
just
same
want to
cheez.
ask you a simple question. Forget about your caste census. Let's say you're the most unifying
Sure.
party that was ever born in this country. Fair enough. Cool. I respect your point of view, sir. I rest my case. I just want to ask you, why couldn't the Congress go public with a statement saying, we are sacking Mr. Sam Pitroda? They constantly ask for the sacking of Modi. They constantly ask for the sacking of ex-minister, Y minister, MLA, MP that steps out of line. Why couldn't they say, herewith Sam Pitroda is sacked?
Sam Pitroda was asked to step down.
I don't know. There is no public record. I'm asking you, why wasn't he sacked forthwith? Do you think he should have been sacked?
To answer.
I know what you're going to say. There was a private call that went, I'm asking you for a public declaration. Why did that not happen?
I am telling you something publicly. You must allow me to speak. Sam Pitroda was asked to step down. He goddamn stepped down.
Says who?
Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is not in jail.
Says who?
Is not in jail.
Says who?
That's the difference.
Says who?
That's not
Says
the
who?
difference. Says who? Brij Bhushan
Says who?
Sharan Singh is
No. Who is saying that Sam Pitroda was asked to step down? Says who?
Racist.
Says who?
Made a terrible statement.
Says who? Viewers, it's fundamental. It is fundamental. They will ask for the resignation of ex-minister, Y minister, W person, Prime Minister, everybody. They will say that that person must be sacked. When it came to Sam Pitroda, viewers, there was not a pipsqueak except for saying that, no, we don't agree, it's his private views. It's not the first time.
I started it.
Why didn't they sack him? Viewers, fundamentally, that's the question that needs to be answered. And it won't do when someone says, oh, we asked him to step down. The man got up in the morning, brushed his teeth, and decided that, okay, theek hai, for damage control's sakes, let me.
Denture.
Denture.
Well, whatever it is, denture, whatever, I don't know what he has. He
How does
certainly,
Anand know?
he
How does
certainly got,
Anand know?
he certainly
How
got a
does Anand know?
mouthful. He certainly got a mouthful of marbles for having said all of these things, and they rolled out of his nut, of his head, because he's completely lost them. He's completely lost his marbles, viewers, and it's pretty obvious. No one says the things that, no one says the things that Sam Pitroda has said today. Viewers.
But I want to make a serious point, Rahul. Listen.
It's a very serious point.
No,
Can you
Tehseen
imagine
has
that
made-
Mr. Modi, I remember there was one remark that Mr. Modi made about recognizing people from the color of their clothes or something weird like that. And there was a monstrous outrage from the New York Times to God knows what else.
Washington Post.
Whatever, the Post, the Listening Post, the Leaning Post, Dr. Ranganathan, they asked for his resignation point blank. Here, Mr. Pitroda decides when he goes, when he comes, how he says, what he says.
Now, you see, this is you actually hit the nail on the head, because the fact remains that even though my good friend Tehseen has been very generous, and I say very frank, to completely condemn Sam and his utterances, he is completely silent of the utterances of Rahul Gandhi, who are as senseless and as vicious as Sam's utterances. There, the cushion is of I don't know what variety, and the silence is of library thickness. And as far as my good friend Naveen Jindal is concerned, sorry, I beg your pardon, Lokesh Jindal, I suddenly elevated him to, the other Jindal. The fact remains, can he say yes or no whether Rahul Gandhi saying that Modi has claimed 15 lakhs will go into every Indian's bank account, whether it's a lie? No, Lokesh will not say this, because they are petrified of Rahul Gandhi while they are not scared of Sam. This is the problem with apparatchiks like Lokesh Jindal. And the thing is, their clients, tomorrow their clients are going to go to the judge and say, my lord, Lokesh Jindal को मैंने टीवी पे सुना, मैं अपने आप को खुद रिप्रेजेंट कर लूंगा, मुझे ये लॉयर नहीं चाहिए.
Poor jokes, sad jokes, old scripts. Come on, you can do better, Anand. I'll tell you, the screen that is there in front of you, that has to be updated. Come out with something fresh, something that amuses the audiences more. This is too boring nowadays.
Okay, so Mr. Jindal, let me ask you. One second, let me go across to Union Minister Mr. Kiren Rijiju, who joins us on this broadcast. Mr. Rijiju, thank you very much for speaking to the Hard Facts. This is Rahul Shivshankar. Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Rijiju, we've just learned that Mr. Sam Pitroda has resigned. Does this in any way absolve now the Congress party of the racial rant that their face to the world, their global ambassador made?
See, first of all, I must tell you that I was personally very hurt, and I was shocked that a party leader who is not simply a member of a Congress party, but who is an ideologue of Congress party, who is the mentor of the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, has made this shocking statement. Secondly, we are not taking this lightly, because Rahul Gandhi himself is born out of this idea. Rahul Gandhi is in a way the reflection of Sam Pitroda's ideas, because Sam Pitroda was as close to late Rajiv Gandhi ji as he is as close to Rahul Gandhi. So we are not taking this statement lightly. Now somebody told me just now that Sam Pitroda has resigned from whatever Congress oversees, whatever chairmanship or whatever position he had. That is immaterial. What is important is, can Sam Pitroda cease to be mentor of Rahul Gandhi? Can Sam Pitroda remove himself as being the advisor of Rahul Gandhi? This party position is immaterial. These are just token position. What is important and relevant is, Sam Pitroda continues to be the guide and mentor of Rahul Gandhi, and Rahul Gandhi runs his show with the direction and guidance of Sam Pitroda. So the huge embarrassment and damage which he has caused to the nation is something we cannot just remain low, or nor we can take it lightly, because it has caused a monumental damage to our nation status and our societies, whatever ethical practice which we have made. All Indians are together.
Let me personalize this. A certain reference was made to people in the Northeast. A specific reference was made. How do you, as a person who has looked and thought of yourself only as an Indian first, how did you perceive that statement?
Well, Rahulji, this statement has, as I had stated earlier, caused lots of pain to me personally and to the entire region. Now, to club the entire northeastern people as Chinese look-alike and the whole of South Indians as African look-alike and Western India as Arab look-alike, this itself is an idea which I think Congress party had carried it for a long time. Divide the society. Put India into different caste and class, talk about this OBC reservation, then all this census, reservation for Muslims, all this kind of politics which we are witnessing for past few years from the Congress party is today, Sam Pitroda has openly stated it. So this is a larger design to weaken India. I have a strong feeling that although Rahul Gandhi, Sam Pitroda may claim to be Indian by birth, but they are very foreigner in their thinking. If you have to do politics in India, you have to think Indian. You may take education from elsewhere. You can be Oxford educated. You can get degree from anywhere else. But please think as an Indian. That is the problem. So if the entire northeastern people are clubbed as Chinese look-alike, just try to understand the underlining effect which it is going to cause.
Yes.
And if you go to South India, the entire South Indian people are called African look-alike, what damaging it is going to cause. So the tone and tenor of the statement, the kind of the idea behind this particular statement, it is something which we need to fight against. And I can assure you, Rahul Gandhi and Congress party are rejected by the people of India.
Well,
now they want to take down the country along with them. How will we allow that? Just merely Congress party is being rejected by the people of this country. We cannot allow them to come back by divide and rule policy. This is not acceptable to us.
Well, Mr. Rijiju, thank you for speaking your mind, and someone who represents a vital, integral part of India. Viewers, you've heard Mr. Rijiju cautioning us, warning us about these divisive approaches. Thank you, Mr. Rijiju. Pleasure always to speak to you.
Thank you.
I just want to quickly go back to Dr. Ranganathan, Tehseen Poonawala, if they are there with us. Okay. So, Dr. Ranganathan, look, the question now will arise because it is being asked. Should Rahul Gandhi come out and formally issue an apology? Yes, I'm coming to you, Sanju Verma. Just bringing in Dr. Ranganathan. Do you believe that the time has come for him to take a very clear stand?
Why should Rahul Gandhi apologize? He thinks similarly. Please understand that he has accepted that Sam Pitroda is his guru and Rahul is the Shishya. The two, you can only make sense of Rahul Gandhi if you belong to the same planet, and it isn't Earth, but Sam belongs to the same planet. So yes, Rahul is not going to apologize for this. In fact, it might be that Sam's thoughts are in consonance with what possibly Rahul taught him. As you said, it's very difficult to now, distinguish between who is Sam and who is Rahul. They both are cut from the same cloth. So I am absolutely certain that Rahul is not going to apologize.
Sanju Verma, very quickly, how far will you go in seeking Rahul Gandhi's apology? Is it central to the campaign now?
Rahul, knowing what Rahul Gandhi is all about, his basic DNA is to brazen it out. Don't forget that after he was caught on the back foot with that Chaukidar Chor Hai Jaid, where he said that, the Rafale deal had a lot of underhand, shady dealings. The Supreme Court castigated him in no uncertain terms, and yet he brazened it out. Finally, Meenakshi Lekhi had to file a contempt of court case against Rahul Gandhi. It was then that he zipped up. So my basic point is only this, that Rahul Gandhi, instead of asking BJP questions, Tehseen was saying, ask Sanju Verma, ask the BJP, will they do a caste census? Arey bhai sahab, pehle aap batao, you spent 5,000 crores to do a caste census in 2011. You were in power till May 2014. Why did you not make public the revelations of what the caste census was all about? You were in power in Karnataka from 2013 to 2018. You conducted a caste census for 659 crores in Karnataka. For 5 long years you were in power. Why did you not make the caste census revelations of Karnataka public? You are still in power in Karnataka. Make the caste census findings public. आपको खुद कुछ करना नहीं है. हर चीज में मोदी को गाली दे दो, अमित शाह को गाली दे दो, जेपी नड्डा को गाली दे दो. This गालीबाज politics of deflecting, लटकाना, अटकाना, भटकाना, ये नहीं चलेगा.
Dr. Ranganathan, yes, very quickly before we wrap out. Yeah.
Sanju is, so what if Congress did caste census? Hua to hua.
Correct.
Well, viewers, look, let me tell you, Sam Pitroda's words reopen the fault lines. It's not for nothing that the Congress party, especially Rahul Gandhi, is being called upon to tender an apology on behalf of his mentor. I'll tell you why. Because, viewers, Sam Pitroda's words reopen fault lines that Indians have fought very hard to overcome, to close, to paper over. Indians are now increasingly looking to paper over these cracks. There was a time, viewers, when matrimonial ads used to specify skin color. They no longer do. It's not acceptable. As miscegenation, movies, music, films, food, jobs, tourism are enjoining our disparate selves to embrace each other's ways, a new cosmopolitan Indian is being birthed. And that Indian sees himself as an Indian first, not as an OBC, not as an SC, not as a Dalit, etc., etc. Viewers, let's hope we can rise above these calls, this whistle, this dog whistle of deceitful discrimination, viewers. Let's hope we can reject this. I leave it at this.
We'll talk. these elections impact Bharat's rise in the world? Join me, Nalin Mehta, for the most dynamic and distinctive coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
India bloc, halt the Modi juggernaut. Join me, Nistula Hebbar, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
7 बज गए।
battle of alliances will personal equations spoil chances? Join me, Smita Prakash, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections is equal to CNN News 18.
Co-powered by CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand, coming to you live from our CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio in Mumbai, ladies and gentlemen. And we are joining you with an exclusive, a super exclusive. And this is around the murder of rationalist, anti-superstition activist and founder of the Maharashtra Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti, Dr. Narendra Dabholkar, who was shot dead by two bike-bound assailants on the V.R. Shinde Bridge way back on the 20th of August 2013. So nearly 11 years, ladies and gentlemen, since his murder. A Pune court will pronounce the verdict in the case, expected on the 10th of May. The CBI has arrested Virendra Singh Taude, an ENT surgeon allegedly associated with the Sanathan Sanstha. As per the CBI, Taude was the mastermind. CBI also arrested Sachin Andure and Sharat Kalaskar, whom the agency claimed were the shooters, and their names came around the murder investigation of Gauri Lankesh. Now, while Virendra Singh Taude, Sachin Andure and Sharat Kalaskar remain in custody, Sanjeev Punalekar and Vikram Bhave have been released on bail. But today, CNN News 18 has accessed some documents in the case that shed fresh light and raise many more questions. Were the wrong people deliberately targeted for the murder of a man on that bridge because it suited a particular narrative? Are the murderers of Narendra Dabholkar still at large? Is it a Hindu extremist connection, or is it a Maoist connection? The documents accessed by CNN News 18 raise questions on the nature of investigation of the CBI too. Let's just look at some of these documents. First up, we have Amit Thadani, author of the Raja Rationalist Murders with us, Vishnu Jain, senior advocate with us, and Vivek Srivastava,
leader of the left, from the left of the CPI. But first, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the documents that we have accessed. First one that we have accessed is the deposition of witness number 1. Now, this is all submitted, documents that have been submitted in court, and there is a reason why they raised some questions, ladies and gentlemen. The lady or the person in question who's witness number 1 is Suvarna Jitendra Ahir, and she is Sharat Kalaskar's elder sister. She is Sharat Kalaskar's elder sister, and this is what she is saying. What she is saying is that she came to know the fact that Sharat Kalaskar's name has come up in the murder of Narendra Dabholkar on the 18th of August 2018, where she says photos emerged of my brother being shown on media, that he is the one involved in the murder of Narendra Dabholkar. But let's go back to the date that we mentioned. The date of murder of Narendra Dabholkar was the 20th of August 2013. 20th of August 2013. What she is saying is 20th of August 2013, ladies and gentlemen, was Raksha Bandhan. I realized that on 20th of August 2013 there was Raksha Bandhan. That's what she's saying. I came to know the fact from news, and I also confirmed the setback through Google. You and me can check it. Was the 20th of August 2013 Raksha Bandhan? Then she says, ladies and gentlemen, in her statement, this is submitted in court, that as it was Raksha Bandhan, I was shocked about the news of involvement of my brother in the said murder case. On the said Raksha Bandhan, I had visited my parents. I had seen that, I had been there on the earlier day. And then she is also saying on 20, we celebrated Raksha Bandhan. After celebrating Raksha Bandhan, my brother had been on agriculture land for agricultural work. So she was there on the previous day. Her brother was present there. Dr. Narendra Dabholkar was murdered between 6 a.m. and around 7:15 a.m. But she is saying she was there on the previous day and her brother was there living with her parents at that time.